Number 1, the price no one warned you about. Listen carefully because this is where most men misunderstand power. They chase respect like it is free, like it comes without cost, like status is a crown you wear instead of a weight you carry. Machiavelli knew better. Respect is never gifted. It is rented, and the rent is paid in isolation, restraint, and bloodless sacrifice. The moment people respect you, they stop loving you freely. The moment your status rises, warmth leaves the room, smiles become calculations, compliments become tests. You feel admired, yet watched, elevated, yet alone. This is the hidden price no one warns you about. When you climb, you become a symbol, not a man. Symbols are not allowed weakness. Symbols are not forgiven mistakes. Symbols are judged, measured, and silently challenged. Dark psychology teaches this truth. Respect creates distance, and distance creates fear. Fear is useful, but it is cold. Masculine stoicism demands you accept this without complaint. Power does not comfort you, it hardens you. Status does not protect you, it exposes you. People no longer ask how you feel, they ask how you might react. Your silence becomes loud. Your absence becomes noticeable. Your words, when spoken, carry weight, and weight crushes the careless. This is why weak men crave respect but collapse under it. They want the appearance of dominance without paying the psychological tax. Machiavelli would laugh at them. He understood that to be respected is to be restrained, controlled, and constantly aware. You must master your impulses because others are studying them. You must govern your emotions because they are looking for cracks. From this moment on, understand this clearly. If you want to be untouchable, you must accept that respect will cost you comfort, status will cost you connection, and power will cost you innocence. If that price feels unfair, good. Power was never designed to be fair. Number 2, why respect turns allies into rivals. The moment you gain respect, the room changes, not loudly, but permanently. Machiavelli warned that men rarely oppose power openly, they compete with it quietly. What once felt like friendship begins to carry friction. Jokes sharpen, advice turns conditional, support becomes delayed. Dark psychology explains why. Respect activates comparison, and comparison breeds resentment. When your status rises, you become a mirror that forces others to confront their own limits. Some will admire you, many will envy you, most will do both at the same time. This is where naive men fail. They believe respect creates loyalty. It doesn't. It creates hierarchy, and hierarchy awakens rivalry. Masculine stoicism demands you do not take this personally. This is not betrayal, it is human nature. Machiavelli understood that men forgive insults more easily than superiority. You can offend someone and be forgiven, but surpass them, and they will remember forever. Respect shifts the power balance, and power imbalances make people uncomfortable. They smile, but their minds rehearse scenarios where you fall. Not because you wrong them, but because your existence pressures their identity. This is why the respected man must become strategically distant, not cold, controlled, not paranoid, observant. You listen more than you speak. You reveal less than you know. You stop explaining yourself because explanations invite negotiation, and negotiation weakens authority. Dark power psychology teaches this rule. Familiarity erodes respect, but distance preserves it. The respected man is not accessible on demand. His time feels scarce. His approval feels earned. His silence feels intentional. When allies sense they cannot predict you, they hesitate to challenge you. This is how you become untouchable, not by aggression, but by ambiguity. Understand this now. Respect will not surround you with friends. It will surround you with competitors pretending to be friends. Your job is not to expose them. Exposure creates enemies. Your job is to outgrow them silently. Machiavelli didn't survive by confronting every threat. He outlasted them. Do the same. Let others reveal their insecurity while you reveal nothing. Number 3, status demands emotional discipline. Status is not maintained by strength alone. It is maintained by emotional control. The higher you rise, the less you are allowed to react. Machiavelli understood this with ruthless clarity. Power is lost the moment emotion becomes visible. Anger invites manipulation. Excitement invites exploitation. Sadness invites disrespect. Dark psychology confirms it. People test those above them not by force, but by provocation. They want to see what breaks you. Masculine stoicism exists for this reason. It is not about suppressing emotion, it is about mastering its timing. A man of status feels everything, but reveals nothing unless it serves him. When you react impulsively, you lower yourself to the level of the moment. When you remain composed, you elevate yourself above it. This is the hidden discipline few are willing to endure. You will be misunderstood. Your silence will be labeled arrogance. Your restraint will be mistaken for weakness. Let them think that. Machiavelli knew that perception is a weapon and confusion is a shield. When people cannot read you, they hesitate. When they hesitate, you control the pace. Status turns every interaction into a performance where you are watched more closely than others. One careless word can undo years of authority. One emotional outburst can invite challenges you didn't anticipate. This is why powerful men speak slowly, decide privately, and act decisively. They do not argue. They conclude. They do not defend. They observe. Dark power psychology teaches that calm dominance unsettles aggressive minds. Rage expects resistance. Calm denies its satisfaction. Over time, people learn that emotional access to you is denied. This denial creates gravity. Gravity creates respect. If you want to be untouchable, accept this truth now. You must become emotionally expensive. Not everyone deserves your reactions. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every battle deserves your presence. The man who controls his emotions controls the battlefield before the fight even begins. Status does not reward intensity, it rewards restraint. Remember that, and you will move through rooms like a force no one dares to test openly. Number 4. Why power punishes transparency. Understand this before it costs you everything. Transparency is a luxury of the powerless. Machiavelli never trusted the man who revealed his intentions too freely, because power is not preserved by honesty, it is preserved by control. When you gain status, every truth you share becomes a vulnerability others can store, reshape, and use against you later. Dark psychology exposes this pattern clearly. People collect information not to understand you, but to predict you. Prediction is power. If they can predict you, they can corner you. This is why the respected man speaks less about his plans, his fears, and his desires. Not because he is deceptive, but because he is disciplined. Masculine stoicism teaches silence not as secrecy, but as strategy. Weak men confuse transparency with integrity. Strong men know integrity is measured by action, not confession. The higher your status, the more dangerous it becomes to narrate your inner world. People will nod in agreement while quietly mapping your limits. They will empathize while memorizing your weaknesses. Machiavelli understood that men rarely betray openly. They leak information subtly. A careless admission today becomes leverage tomorrow. This is the hidden punishment of power. You must guard your inner life as fiercely as your outer position. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving others permission to judge your reasoning. When you stop justifying your decisions, you reinforce authority. Dark power psychology teaches that mystery sustains dominance. What is known can be attacked. What is unclear creates hesitation. This does not mean becoming cold or cruel. It means becoming selective. Your thoughts are not public property. Your struggles are not communal discussion. Your vision does not require applause to be valid. As your status rises, your words must become deliberate. Your disclosures rare. Your intentions concealed until execution. Let outcomes speak. Let results silence doubt. Machiavelli's lesson was brutal but accurate. Men respect what they cannot fully access. If you want to be untouchable, accept this rule now. The more power you hold, the less you must reveal. Speak when it strengthens your position. Stay silent when it preserves it. Power does not reward openness, it rewards precision. Number 5, the loneliness built into authority. Power isolates by design. This is not a flaw in the system, it is the system. Machiavelli understood that authority creates altitude, and altitude creates distance. The higher you rise, the fewer people can breathe where you stand. This is why leadership feels lonely even in crowded rooms. People talk to you but rarely speak freely. They agree but hesitate to disagree. They approach but with caution. Dark psychology explains this clearly. Status shifts how others relate to you, not because you changed, but because they did. You become a variable they must calculate, not a presence they can relax around. Weak men interpret this loneliness as rejection and chase closeness to soothe their ego. Strong men recognize it as confirmation. Masculine stoicism demands that you endure solitude without bitterness. You do not complain about being misunderstood. You understand that clarity invites challenge. Machiavelli knew that the powerful man must be comfortable standing alone in his decisions, because consensus is fragile and loyalty is conditional. When things go wrong, applause disappears first. This is why authority must be internal before it is external. If you rely on validation, power will starve you. Dark power psychology teaches that independence of approval is a form of dominance. When you no longer need reassurance, others feel it, and they adjust. You become harder to influence, harder to pressure, harder to corner. Loneliness sharpens perception. It forces you to observe rather than participate, to listen rather than vent, to calculate rather than react. Over time, this solitude becomes an advantage. While others seek comfort in numbers, you develop clarity in silence. While they share doubts, you refine strategy. This is the hidden trade. Power takes companionship and gives you perspective. Status takes belonging and gives you authority. If you resist this exchange, power will break you. If you accept it, power will shape you. Machiavelli's lesson was not to avoid loneliness, but to master it. Learn to sit with it. Learn to think within it. Learn to draw strength from it. Because the man who can stand alone without collapsing is the man no one can threaten. This is how you become untouchable, not surrounded by people, but anchored in yourself. Number 6. When respect becomes a trap. Respect can imprison the unprepared. Once you are seen as powerful, you are no longer free to behave casually. Every move becomes symbolic. Every mistake becomes a statement. Machiavelli understood that reputation, once formed, begins to control the man who created it. Dark psychology explains why. People anchor expectations to your status, then punish you for deviating from it. If you show softness, they call it weakness. If you show firmness, they call it cruelty. This is the trap. Respect narrows the margin for error. Weak men panic here. They start performing their image instead of commanding it. They become slaves to perception, terrified of falling from the pedestal they climbed onto willingly. Masculine stoicism teaches a harder path. Do not serve your reputation. Use it. Reputation is a tool, not an identity. Machiavelli never advised becoming predictable. He advised becoming necessary. When people rely on your authority, they tolerate your deviations. When they merely admire you, they wait for you to fail. Dark power psychology teaches that respect without leverage is fragile. This is why the untouchable man builds usefulness alongside status. He becomes the solution, not just the symbol. He controls outcomes, not opinions. When respect turns into a cage, the answer is not to please, it is to reposition. Change the rules quietly. Shift the terrain. Let others adjust to you instead of you adjusting to them. The powerful man does not fear losing respect. He fears losing control. Respect can vanish overnight. Control takes longer to challenge. This is why Machiavelli favored fear over love when forced to choose. Not because fear is cruel, but because fear is consistent. Admiration fluctuates. Dependence endures. Understand this clearly. If your power depends on being liked, you are already compromised. If it depends on being needed, you are protected. Do not let respect turn you into a performer trapped by expectations. Become the man whose presence changes outcomes. When you reach that level, people stop judging your behavior and start adapting to it. That is the moment the trap dissolves and authority becomes real. If you want to be untouchable, remember this: never let respect define you. Let results defend you. Number 7, why power must be selective. Power is not about access, it is about denial. Machiavelli understood that the ability to say no is what separates authority from popularity. The higher your status, the more demands will surround you. Everyone wants your time, your approval, your energy, your alignment. Dark psychology reveals the danger here. Constant availability dissolves dominance. When people can reach you easily, they stop valuing you deeply. Masculine stoicism teaches selectivity as survival. You do not owe explanations for every refusal. You do not need to justify every boundary. The untouchable man understands that scarcity creates gravity. If everyone gets access, access loses meaning. This is why powerful men narrow their circle as they rise, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Too many voices create noise. Too much openness creates exposure. Machiavelli warned that men are undone not by enemies, but by unmanaged proximity. Familiarity breeds entitlement, and entitlement breeds disrespect. Dark power psychology teaches that distance preserves hierarchy. You decide who enters your world, who stays on the edge, and who never crosses the line. This selectivity makes people cautious. Caution breeds respect. Respect sustains power. Weak men feel guilty enforcing boundaries. Strong men see boundaries as structure. They understand that not everyone deserves access to their thinking, their emotions, or their plans. When you become selective, people adjust their behavior around you. They speak with intention. They act with care. They hesitate before crossing lines. This is not fear born of cruelty. It is respect born of clarity. Power that is everywhere feels cheap. Power that is rare feels inevitable. If you want to be untouchable, learn this discipline now. Your time is not negotiable, your focus is not communal, and your presence is not guaranteed. Let people earn proximity through consistency, not familiarity. Let silence filter intentions. Let patience reveal loyalty. Machiavelli's lesson was simple but brutal. The man who controls access controls the game. Be that man. Number 8, the silent war behind status. Once you reach a certain level, conflict no longer announces itself. There are no raised voices, no open threats, no dramatic confrontations. The war becomes quiet, polite, strategic. Machiavelli understood that power struggles at the top are fought through positioning, not aggression. Dark psychology confirms this. The higher the status, the more covert the attacks. People don't try to defeat you directly. They try to weaken your influence indirectly. They question your decisions in private. They delay your momentum subtly. They plant doubt where you cannot easily see it. This is why the untouchable man sharpens awareness, not suspicion. Masculine stoicism demands clarity over paranoia. You do not accuse, you observe. You notice patterns, not words. You track outcomes, not intentions. Weak men react emotionally to perceived threats and expose themselves. Strong men let time reveal truth. Machiavelli knew that patience is a weapon sharper than force. When you rush to defend yourself, you confirm that you are affected. When you remain still, others reveal their hand. Dark power psychology teaches that silence under pressure unsettles manipulators. They rely on reaction to measure success. Deny them that feedback, and they lose direction. This silent war is fought through timing. You act later than expected, but more decisively. You respond less, but with greater consequence. You don't interrupt narratives. You replace them with results. Over time, this creates an invisible dominance. People feel your presence even when you say nothing. They adjust behavior without being told. This is when status becomes self-enforcing. The room polices itself in your favor. Understand this. Not every attack deserves a response, and not every challenge deserves acknowledgement. The powerful man chooses which battles become visible and which die quietly. Machiavelli's brilliance was not in confrontation, but in survival through foresight. He knew that the man who sees the war beneath the surface controls the outcome above it. If you want to be untouchable, stop looking for enemies who shout. Watch for those who smile, comply, and quietly reposition the board. Power is not lost loudly. It erodes silently, unless you are watching. Number 9, becoming untouchable. Untouchable does not mean invincible. It means unmanageable by others. Machiavelli understood that true power is not the absence of threat, but the inability of threats to reach you. Dark psychology teaches that most attempts to undermine a man rely on emotional hooks: ego, fear, validation, urgency. The untouchable man removes those hooks. He does not rush. He does not beg. He does not explain himself to feel understood. Masculine stoicism sharpens this posture until pressure has nowhere to land. When people cannot provoke you, they cannot control you. When they cannot predict you, they hesitate to challenge you. This is how untouchability is built, layer by layer, decision by decision. You stop reacting to noise and start responding only to leverage. You stop seeking approval and start demanding alignment. You stop chasing outcomes and start shaping conditions. Machiavelli favored men who ruled environments, not moods. Dark power psychology confirms this. Influence belongs to the one who controls the frame. If others argue inside your frame, you win before speaking. This is why the untouchable man defines standards early and enforces them calmly. No threats, no drama, just consistency. Over time, people learn the cost of crossing you without ever being told explicitly. Your boundaries become assumed. Your authority becomes ambient. Weak men try to dominate moments. Strong men dominate patterns. When stress arrives, you slow down. When chaos spreads, you simplify. When pressure mounts, you become still. This stillness unnerves those who rely on turbulence to gain advantage. Machiavelli's lesson reaches its peak here. Power is most effective when it feels inevitable. When others feel that resisting you is inefficient, exhausting, or pointless, they stop trying. This is not cruelty, it is mastery. Untouchable men are not loud, they are grounded. They do not prove themselves repeatedly, they position themselves permanently. If you want to be untouchable, stop thinking in terms of confrontation. Think in terms of structure. Build systems, habits, and reputations that defend you, even when you are silent. When power protects itself, you have arrived. Number 10, the final lesson and call to action. Now that you understand the hidden price of respect, the weight of status, and the silent mechanics of power, remember this: being untouchable is not a moment, it is a practice. Machiavelli's truth is clear. The world respects control, not intention, results, not explanations, presence, not popularity. Dark psychology reminds you that every glance, every conversation, every decision is a test. The untouchable man passes them all silently. Masculine stoicism demands endurance, patience, and precision. You will feel the isolation, the scrutiny, the subtle rivalries, and you will rise above them because you are trained to. You will speak less, observe more, and act with measured impact. You will let fear and envy swirl around you while you remain steady. Authority is invisible until it is undeniable. Understand now, respect is costly, status is isolating, and power punishes the careless. But for those who master themselves, these prices become tools, not chains. You will become a man who is not merely followed, but deferred to, not merely noticed, but calculated in absence, not merely respected, but untouchable. Take these lessons and integrate them relentlessly. Refuse distraction, refuse validation, refuse weakness. Your presence will speak louder than any words. Your results will outlast opinion. Your silence will command. And as you rise, remember to act intentionally, observe constantly, and protect your inner world fiercely. Now, if this monologue has sharpened your understanding of power, respect, and status, make it count. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the strategies that turn philosophy into dominance. This is your first step to becoming untouchable. Step wisely, step deliberately, step forever.